What's dark web? And that's for fucking pedos and stuff, isn't it?
We lost 2 of our listeners. 4 left now.
I had Alistair over him to win by knockout.
It was nice and fucking straight until you fucking touched it.
You said chuck the Dell on a hip.
Yeah, you got a bad hip.
Get down, baby.
Let's go podcast. Woo!
Are we podcasting now?
And he said, I don't know anybody who does as much mileage as me, you know, it's just not really fair, is it? He said, most people do 10 to 20,000 miles a year. He said, I'm doing, 50, 60 all over the country. He said, so, I'm going to get caught from time to time. But let's be honest, it's all just a fines machine for the government, isn't it?
I'm going.
We were bored now,
We going, are we?
Yeah.
Right, what happened to episode 8? No?
No, it was 8. Yeah, it was 8.5 minutes. We lost that.
Yeah, it was last that. Myself, Dave Owen, James Lilly, Sean, producer, and we got some guests. We got Richie, Garner, boxing promoter, or manager, or trainer, or all three.
Manager and trainer, not manager.
And we got undefeated Willie Churro, and right, surname. Dragone. It is Dragone. Everyone Churro said Dragone. Angelo Dragone.
Dragone.
Yes, got it.
Dragone.
The fighting milkman. He's brought us. Lily demanded, even though he's like cutting for a fight soon.
I'm not. 6 weeks out.
They said
6 weeks.
Why?
Only 2 weeks out.
Anyway, he's demanded milkshakes and Angelo with it. So let's get on with it.
Oh, I don't eat fruit. No sugar.
What is wrong with you?
I don't eat fruit.
It's good sugars.
What?
It's good sugars.
Not when you fucking...
better sugars than this than there is a milkshake.
So not Angelo's, there's not.
You don't know what
Right, Rich, you've got a show, is it? It's 6 days' time, isn't it?
2nd of February, at Neon in Newport.
What's Neon? Is that a nightclub, is that?
No, it used to be a theatre. I think it actually used to be a cinema at one point. But it's a very big building in Newport. Very excited for it. The building is absolutely fantastic. I would draw you aloud if I could, but it's almost impossible to do. Walk through the doors is a massive lobby, as you would expect. Like, for example, when you walk into the Grand, it's a similar sort of state of play as that. Then there's an upstairs section which is tiered seating. And the reason I'm so excited is because I don't think it matters where you buy a ticket, you're going to have an absolutely fantastic view. The tiered seats upstairs, which are £40, they look directly down onto the ring. So, it's like in the football, like at the Liberty, you can be sat, pretty much at the back, but you feel like you're on top of the pitch sometimes, and that's what it's going to be like in the Neon. There's some standing areas behind there. There's some tables downstairs where I paid for a hog roast, which I paid for this week, cost me an absolute fortune. So we had this hog roast. Angelo came with me to the Welsh Ex-Boxers Association meeting, and the food there was so good that I was like, I'm having that caterer.
So that's the one you got going there?
That's the one I've got going there, yeah. Nice. It's cost me a fair few quid, but we know they're excellent. And the biggest complaints we have in promotions, particularly at the Brangwyn Hall, and that wasn't Brangwyn Hall's fault, that was somebody else's fault who was in charge of that. But the biggest problem we have is people complaining about food at dinner shows. So this is half dinner, half, kind of...
So it's hard to get right, and then you've got to take the reaction to the food. And
what doesn't help getting it right is when you sell 200 tables and somebody who's involved who should be taking care of that caters for 30.
So past each.
Some people just got to smell the food. But this one, we've got the people who in tables. There's tables downstairs then, so you've got the tiered seating and standing upstairs. There's 2 tables in the wings, because like I said, it's like an old theatre type setup. There's 2 tables either side there in the wings, which are premium tables, and they're quite expensive. We've only got one of those left. But literally they are on top of the ring, and you have your own waiter, 2 bottles of Moët, and the food is brought to you, your drinks will be brought to you.
Imagine having guest listed people there who've got like a media platform.
I know. I thought that was a fantastic idea, so I invited some people along.
Boxing Wales.
But yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, the seats downstairs are fantastic. This is genuinely going to be the best show that so far I've ever been involved in. Top of the bill will be Kieran Gething fighting Henry James for the super lightweight title. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's a fantastic fight that everybody thinks is a genuine 50-50 match. I don't know how you guys feel, but
How was Gething got down to super lightweight?
do you know what?
Because he was always on the middle before.
Yeah, and he said to me,
It was up for me, like.
do you know what he said to me? He said, I brought a dietitian on board. He said, I got a strength and conditioning coach who works in relation to weight loss as well. He said, and I cannot believe what a fat bastard I was. He said, fighting at middleweight, he said, when clearly I can get down perhaps as low as lightweight. You know, and he looks in great condition as well. I mean, he doesn't look drawn at the weight either. You know, he looks absolutely fantastic. Henry James, you know, predominantly a lightweight, but Henry is so up for this. I actually, and this is because like Gary Lockett takes the piss out of me all the time. If I was on any other podcast, I'll say this. I would have said takes the mic or something like that. But I'm on here, so unless I drop the C word at least 5 times, I'm not going to feel like I fit in. But Gary takes the piss all the time. He calls me a boxing romantic because, you know, I want to see the Rocky story. I want to help the small guy get the big prize. And when I handed the tickets over to Henry, honest to God, I almost got emotional about it because I handed the tickets over and he was so thankful, he was so grateful. He's like, I've never really had a chance to be the home fighter not far from my hometown with my own picture on the poster, his head, you know, with my Jesus, look, my pictures on the tickets, and you know, he was so happy about it, you know, and he said, you know, I'm going all out for this. This means everything to me. You know, Kieran Gething, he came up short against Tony Dixon, who I felt he perhaps underestimated last time, and I certainly didn't underestimate Dixon. He comes up the gym all the time, sparring Jake Anthony, Spencer Thomas, and you know he gives a bit of weight to those boys, and he's a very, very tough fighter. Gets his shots off, quick hands.
Yeah, I've seen him a few times. He can take a shot.
Exactly, yeah.
But he got out of the day.
He went on a run, didn't he? He had like 3 or 4 wins in a row, didn't he, Henry?
Yeah.
And then he lost to Gavin Gwynn, was it?
I think he lost Andy Townsend, didn't he?
Yeah. But you know, great fighter. Fights on the road, doesn't care who he fights, where he fights, and he's got a great opportunity here. He knows it, and I know he's just going to bring it. And obviously, Kieran Gething, if he loses this one, you know, that's 3 losses in his career, and for a guy with his ambition, you know, where's that going to send him?
He's living the life of a boxer that has been around for years, and is top of the tree, which I suppose it shows his ambition, and I'm confident he is in his skill. I expect.
And he's a lovely guy.
Tony, skill-wise, I don't think he was
wasn't a lot in it, no.
No,
a lot in it.
You probably technically give the edge to Kieran, but Tony is just got that dog in him as well.
Craft, grit, determination. Yeah. And I think he hits harder than people give him credit for.
Tony.
I think he
very, very hard.
You know, no disrespect to Kieran, and you know, I think he thought it was going to be a bit easier. He said to me before the fight, he said, you know, I've got his number, I'm just all wrong for him.
Yeah, so I mean, he knew in his head he was technically better, which maybe had got him a little overconfident.
Exactly, yeah. You know, he came up short, but you know, it just won. We just had the Welsh area awards, and he and Tony got fight of the year, and it was more than deserved. I was ringside for that. Mixed emotions for me because, of course, Tony's always sparring my guys. But on the other hand, Kieran's, you know, quite a close personal friend, and you know, he signed with MTK now. He was expected to sign with me, but the opportunity with MTK came up. Lee, again, I'm friends with Lee. He's a lovely, really nice guy, and he's one of those guys as well who really does care about the boxers. I feel that Lee really cares about the boxers, and he wants to make a big splash in Wales. So I felt that MTK was a good platform, a bigger platform than I could provide for him. So I was more than happy to see him go. Plus, with the greatest of respect again to Kieran, I share his ambition, but we don't share the same timeline for it. He's 23 years of age. I would not have wanted him taking the fights he's had at such an early stage in his career. He sells a lot of tickets. I would have had him build himself up a little bit more, get more experience, ticking more boxes against different types of fighters. And perhaps if he had signed, we wouldn't have been on the same page in relation to his career progression. He wants a lot very quickly, and I would have wanted to try to slow that down, and perhaps that would make things different.
It's quite refreshing, though, that he's got the attitude of, I'll fight anyone.
Oh, almost an MMA attitude.
Yeah, and not caring about the undefeated record. Not caring about going 7, 8, 9 and 0 against nobody. He's happy just to get in there straight from the off. So I mean, it's just quite refreshing. Whether it's well placed or not, or wise, is another question, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, when he came up short, I would say perhaps it was a bit ill placed, but as long as he doesn't lose to Henry, then his career stays on track. It's not going to damage Henry's career too much.
No.
It's a lost opportunity, but
he's almost going. It's a free hit for him, really. Nobody expects it. He's never expected to get the shot in the first place. He's not gonna. I don't think he'd have the ump on me calling him a journeyman, because that's pretty much.
He's a genuine journeyman though, because
he goes to win, not just take an hide in and take his. Grand or whatever it may be.
There's 3 types of fighters that fight on the road. There's those that run and survive and want to fight next time. There's those that tuck up and want to fight next time, and there's those that genuinely go there and have a little go. And Henry's,
like a William Overton as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even William, I would say, but he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy, and like I said, mixed emotions for me. I kind of want the Cinderella story for Henry, but on the other hand, Kieran's a friend of mine, and he has, very, very high ambition.
I would definitely say Gethin's the favourite if you're going to put money on. He's smart money, I think, because he's technically a better boxer.
Naturally bigger, too.
I think, yeah. So the smart money be on him, but
don't get a tagline, Rich. One more shot of the title. Will they get another shot after it?
Well, that's what you're just saying, isn't it? Where does Gethin go? If he loses this, he's lost 3 on the head. And James...
Middleweight.
James is probably... Unless he can regularly maybe lose 2 and win 3, or pull off a couple of shots. He might have had the run of his career to get this only shot. So it kind of works.
What's the Rocky tagline where the last one, where he fights...
Tommy Gunn?
No, that's not the last one. He can't like 3 more since then.
Oh, right.
Where he fights, what's his name? Fucking,
you were Antonio Tava.
Yeah, I was thinking, Travis Dixon. That's his name, isn't it? Yeah? Travis Dixon. Walk the line, Travis Dixon.
He kept on saying something. It wasn't a tagline, but he kept on saying something that resonated through the film, which I've heard Enzo say on many occasions. There's something left in the locker. There's, there's something.
That's not what I was thinking of.
Wasn't a tagline, but Enzo's link.
Yeah, over to this over.
Or from Robbie. That speech he gives.
Which one? Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, that's the fucking Daniel.
That's just from fucking film quotes.
But yeah, what was it?
Cliche in the book, isn't we?
Gethin, I think, does go in the favour. But then the smart money goes on him. But if you do boxing romantic, you've got to put a lumper on James to maybe. What's James's power? Does he carry power, or is he just one of those tough guys?
It's kind of awkward as well. He's a good mover, upper body movement.
I'm with Angelo. I wouldn't have had him down as a banger, but he makes you work for every second of the round, and he's in your face all night.
And I said his brothers were boxing years and years. I boxed one of his brothers in one of the amateur finals years ago, and they always won like the Welsh and stuff, so they got good pedigree like as well.
I think Ricky did as well. Did Ricky Owen?
There was 3 of them. There was 3 brothers.
I'm sure Ricky Owen knocked out 2 of his brothers. I can't even saying that. Ricky's really, really talented fighter. I was with him the other day actually. He's always threatening to come back, and I'd love to see it because he genuinely is one of the most talented fighters there ever.
And he stepped not far off British level, I believe.
Oh,
straight in. Yeah.
After his last win at in Swansea, I spoke to Neil Bowers, and he said, look, if he's ready and if he's at optimum weight, he said he's back in the show straight away. He said you'll have to fight a prospect, you'll have to beat the prospect. He said, but I will give him that opportunity immediately, and he's back in the big time, he's back in the show. And I was so desperate to get Ricky back. I said, look, you fight a prospect. I said, you're looking at 3-4 grand perhaps, depending upon who it is, depending upon how many rounds it is. I said, I won't take a penny off you. I said, I just want to see you there. I said, I will not take a penny off you. I mean, I've got entitled to a contract at 20%. Everything with me is transparency, boys. You know that, right? I mean, I know that there's other promoters out there. They charge, 25%
go back and more. You go fight the prospect for 4 grand. Sign it.
Fight anyone.
I mean, depending upon how many rounds it is. I mean, that's sort of money you're talking to. I mean, I was offered £4,500 for Darren Price to fight Caillou Fai. A very early stage of his career when he was looking for an opponent late notice. I mean, I was $4.5 grand, and that was only for 6 rounds. But it was literally the day before. You can get off at that type of money. You've always got to be ready. So that's you screwed, Lily, because
I'm always ready. Don't wait.
Ready means staying off the pies.
Lily in that cruiserweight. Lily's going in that cruiserweight.
Well, spot me $2 grand. I'll go get a load of crack, and I'll go wait the next day, isn't it?
What do I need to give you $2 grand for that? Just check your back pocket there. But genuinely, I mean, there are opportunities out there. But you really got to be in that position from the start. You've got to be a Ted Cheeseman or one of the EFIs or something.
Don't talk to me about his fucking adverts. Have you seen this thing now?
No.
Oh my god. Eddie, it's like, he's on the phone. You'll find at the end and play it. It's the
I
worst.
seen one going, I did one cheese.
No, it's actually worse. The next one.
Sorry, I love that.
Even a Corley,
the newest one is the worst ad we've ever seen.
Is that the Superman one?
Yeah. Cheese man.
He's got a cape on level in here.
And at the end, he's like, "Are you sure I don't look stupid in this, Eddie?" you got to see that.
We'll have to get up the end now.
They're so bad. See the way I see it, they're so bad. They're good. But
Cheese man.
But it's a great headliner. Going back to the show, it's a fantastic headliner. And the one thing that our shows have suffered from when I've worked with British Warriors, initially, because it was, we were dipping our toes in the water in relation to my involvement with Mo as the promoter and me managing the shows for him and helping him out. And it was very much a learning process, and maybe the fights were a bit too easy for some of our guys, especially for Lily. We got him a body and nothing more. That in itself was a nightmare, wasn't it, James? That almost went on for 2 rounds longer than we wanted it to, if you remember.
Yeah, and then he said, I want another £500. I was like, fuck that.
That can be we've criticised certain shows for that before, when we pay X amount and maybe one of them is a competitive fight. And that's what we've said, the difference between MMA shows and boxing shows, where boxing maybe
but it's not just that local show as well. Like Frank Warren puts a card on.
Exactly the same.
He's got, what's his name? Yardy. Knocking out like 25 bombs, and it's on BT Sport. Like,
I'm not a massive fan, not of Anthony Yard, but about the quality of opponents he's had put in front of him. It's not just that they're not the greatest fighters, they're average fighters, but they're not naturally at his weight either, and so he's blowing through them. It's come time. I mean, Steve Evans, he's a good friend of Liam Williams, he's also on his timeline. He brought it up the other day on Twitter. When is he going to fight somebody at his weight who's a genuine contender, genuine threat?
Say the same to be said for Anthony Joshua, to be honest. The fights that everybody knows should be made of it. Regardless of who has what and stuff, they get in multi-millions of pounds. Regardless, they set for life.
That's the only reason I don't like Ed Newton's. Whenever he loses, like, out of the fight, he's like, I offered him 10 million. They clearly don't want it, like.
Now it's being confirmed AJ is fighting White again, isn't it? The fights are there to be made, and that's what.
Yeah, but it's pointless him trying to chuck money at Fury and Wilder when they know they want to fight each other again first.
Yeah, all three of them want to fight each other at some point. Well, they should anyway if they want all the battles.
Yeah, but Fury don't like Kurt, does he either? So I don't know if he'll fight.
Anyway. No.
But I remember years ago. Do you remember when? I can't remember who he fought, but one of the reporters said Eddie, and started asking him a few questions, and I can't remember who the promoter was. I can't remember his name. He still promotes Huey, I'm sure. And he did Huey.
Hennessy, is it? Oh, Hennessy.
Yeah, Mick Hennessy. I'm sure it was Mick Hennessy. And fair play to Tyson Fury, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a massive fan of him. But he turned around and he said, no, what are you asking Eddie for? Mick, you were the guy who put your money where your mouth is. You were the guy who made this happen. Get Mick out here. Get Mick. So, and he stuck up for Mick Hennessy, who's a mid-level promoter, and essentially there's 3 or 4 tiers of promoters. Mick is kind of just below that. Yeah. Probably wouldn't like me saying it, but he just kind of is. Maybe some influential people, or his friends who do. You never know.
Yeah.
Some influential people in Swansea. Maybe Chris Ware rubs shoulders. In that sort of
You don't even know. You forgot.
All we need to do is get the AAC to retweet this, so then maybe some of their listeners that's the message on.
Yeah. But I would take it on the chin that early doors, some of the matches weren't absolutely the best at our shows, but we're taking a massive step forward in relation to that. I mean, the second fight on the bill, chief support is Craig Woodruff. He's coming back to fight in his hometown. He had an easy fight last time out. Naheem Chowdhury, losing record. Actually was an ABA champion and could make things very difficult for fighters if he wanted, but has obviously decided to go on the road and make himself a bit of money, and that's fine. But he wasn't much of a test for Craig. He got through the fight holding and working off the back foot, and it wasn't much of a spectacle. But Craig's been off for 4 years, so it was just an introduction for the ring rust to be worn off.
Who did Craig fight for the last title?
It was Tony Pace.
That's right, yeah. And Tony Pace beat him, didn't he?
No, he lost. He forced Pace to retire in the 4th or the 5th, I think.
I'm sure he lost against another Welsh boy, didn't he?
Mitch Butler.
That's it, yeah.
I was in his corner for that. I think that was for the Celtic as opposed to the Welsh.
Didn't they box an exhibition then as well?
No, they fought twice. They have fought twice.
Yeah,
and he's lost to Butland twice. But he wasn't right in either of the fights, and he was being coached by Steve Sims, who is a good trainer in his own right, but he's very old school. And I'm working with Craig now. Obviously, he signed for me, and I train him and I manage him. I'm helped massively with the training with Luke Pierce, who's an RAF officer who does the PT stuff and what have you, and he's really, really up to date with modern practices in relation to training. And Johan Guarendi. We've got a lot of support in Newport in relation to the Newport's Rocky project, which is a fantastic cause and a great fund, which helps people out.
All I heard was Johan Ben, we've been trying to say over and over again my eggs. I might have to say that. That's why I finished. It's like, fuck, don't use big names like that.
But Craig has got a fantastic test now insofar as he's taken on Jordan Ellison. Ellison had, I'm sure I'd be berated for this, but I felt it was almost a life and death fight with Lance Cooksley's fight. Do yourself a disservice, boys. But he did have a very tough fight with Lance Cooksley, Jordan Ellison.
Went on to beat Sean.
Did he drop?
He dropped Cooksley.
Yeah.
And Cooksley had a nasty cut as well. I mean, a horrendous cut down the side of his eye. In fact, he was meant to be on this show, but the cut was so bad he still hasn't recovered. I saw him the other day, and he's improved massively. He's still a good-looking boy, very much like yourself, James. But
like wine now.
But
like a fucking peach.
There's definitely some fruitiness involved in you.
What's with Woodruff's break? Because when I was covering Welsh boxing a couple of years back, when he was
on the website, go on.
I haven't got it.
What, completely?
Yeah, well,
what happened to Dead Star covering it for you?
Oh, he's not going to pay the fucking thing, though, is he?
No.
Oh, what money he's earning? I'll have one in the morning.
Not tomorrow for me, mate.
I will have one. I'm taking a
cool. Oh yeah, because when I started covering Welsh boxing,
Yeah.
he had already stopped.
Well, he became a bit disillusioned after the Luke Campbell fight.
He boxed with Campbell, did he?
Yeah.
Did he box someone like Martin Ward as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
His CV, his early door CV is like a who's who of
I remember seeing him against Martin Ward, and he had like some success early on, and then he got dropped, didn't he?
Mm.
And that's the last, what was that? It must have been 5 years ago, wasn't it?
You look at a guy like that though, more than that. You look at a guy like that, a kid like that though. He sells a couple of tickets, not fantastically well, but he sells a couple of tickets.
Fucking not chicks.
But there comes a point when you've got a kid like that who you know is naturally talented, and Craig is one of the most talented kids that I'm working with at the moment. Angelo, Dragone, he's here as well. But Craig is just so naturally gifted, and I've known Craig since he was about 12. He came up the gym when I was still fighting with a couple of lads who sparred with me, and he was literally a 12-year-old novice at that point. And he still
he takes the 5% sugar in that.
But he doesn't need drugs, he's on sugar high. The sugar high is just set him through the roof. Such a talented kid, but he should never have been fighting the quality of fight as he did as the home fighter that early. If you've got a fighter like him, you've got to invest a few quid. I mean, you look at Jake Anthony now, I've got very high expectations for Jake. Managing Jake has cost me a lot more money than I've made off him.
Was he not on the show?
It's Newport, it's a bit far. I mean, Angelo sells very well with corporate stuff. Jake doesn't sell, so well. It's more friends and family, and it's 75 miles door to door. It's a hell of a long way to go.
That's where you've got to invest then, or somebody's got to decide, right, I'm putting my chips behind this guy because I believe he can go.
Exactly right. Yeah. And the last show that he fought on before was London show when he fought away. I'm not going to lie, it cost me a lot of money. I had to pay for his opponent. I worked the night for free. But there comes a point, like you said, when you think, his body work is absolutely fantastic. Liam Hunt took the fight at short notice. He had like 2 weeks' notice before he fought Jake last time. And I was a little bit worried for Jake, I'll be honest. I mean, there's always things that you notice as a trainer, as a manager. And Jake, I mean, it's very difficult when you look at Jake sometimes to remember, especially where he works and how cultured he is as a boxer, that he's just turned 20 years of age. He's still a baby. He's still a baby, and he's a pro boxer with a record of 4-0. Fighting sometimes in London, sometimes in Swansea. And nothing really phases him. And he probably won't like me saying this, but like I said, I lay everything out there all the time. But when he fought Liam Hunt, moustache, a little bit of a beard, a lot of gruff, covered in tattoos, looked very big at the weight, hugely muscular. Came in at 12.3, I think. I think Jake was about 12 stone, so giving away a little bit of weight. And we could hear him downstairs, bang, bang on the pads, and you could really hear him smashing the pads. He's working with Chris Sanagar, and Jake walked down the stairs and he says to me, "Feels a bit different, this." And I thought, oh fuck. And I really hope the occasion wasn't getting to him. And, and I had a quiet word with him, and I just said to him, look, I said, you're a talented boy. I said, just go out and do what you do. And he went out there and he gave it to Hunt for 6 rounds, and he didn't win. Not a round, genuinely, and it's not being disrespectful to Liam, but I don't think he won 30 seconds within a round. Jake was just on him. Yeah. And he'd catch Jake with the odd counter shot. He'd wing away and he'd catch him with the odd shot. Which is something
in the last one, isn't it?
Yeah, but Jake literally had him on the verge of stopping him from the second round all the way through, totally in control of the fight. He's a 20-year-old boy. Do you know what I mean? And I just hope that he stays on track and he does all the right things and he continues to improve. We're going to start to step things up for him now. We're going to have him spar on a higher calibre of
Give me a couple of weeks first, right?
Well, you said any time.
What? But like crack flying bugs, in a while.
I think it's important that we get him in with guys like Liam Williams now, and go up to Sheffield maybe and go to the Ingle gym and have him spar there with a higher quality opponent. Perhaps we discussed as well taking him down to Gary Lockett's gym and doing a bit of work with some of the guys there as well, because he's got some great kids. Alex Hughes is another one that we're doing a lot of good to spar with. But we're getting to that level now, where he's got to knuckle down. Things are going to get real hard. I've let a lot of stuff fly so far in relation to his diet and stuff like that. I think he's still a type of kid who likes to have, a beer and a kebab every now and again. More the kebab than the beer, perhaps. But and I think he loves the KFCs, doesn't he, Ange?
But all that's just checking up.
Well, yeah, I was working once, right? I
Can't drink the gravy. I can't have the gravy, please.
Just eat the skin and leave all the chicken.
I was working in Pontypridd once. I was a doorman for 23 years, and I was working in Pontypridd once, and there was this guy called Spencer who was huge, made me look like an Adonis. The guy, serious weight issues. And he spoke to one of my mates, Tony, once, and Tony massively into training and stuff, absolute beast of a man. And he says to Tony, how'd you get in such good shape, Tone? And he said, well, some of the boys take a bit of gear. He said, that helps you. He said, but you've still got to train, Spence. He said, and then on top of that, a bit of cardio. He said, and watch your diet. He said, oh, right, okay. He comes back a couple of days later. He said, I'm not losing any weight, Tone, not losing any weight. I'm doing a bit of cardio, mostly doing weights. He said, well, that should, make you drop if you're watching your diet. Well, I am watching my diet, he said. He said, really, what are you eating? Well, fish and chicken, but, he said, what do you mean fish and chicken? You can't look like that and only be eating fish and chicken. I'm in KFC all the time. McDonald's. If I'm in McDonald's, I have a fillet of fish. If I'm in KFC.
What are you panicking about now?
I'm not, just showing the whole stuff on the thing, for when I was on YouTube.
But, yeah, going back to Woodruff, massive test from Ellison. Like Angelo said, he's just beaten Masha Dodd. So he's had life and more with Cooksey, who's 8-0. He's beaten Masha Dodd. He's a fighter who likes to bring it. And I know he's up for it because we had a little haggle over the purse money, which he wasn't very happy about. He wanted well over the odds to fight Craig. So we were haggling over the purse money. And, the word was we weren't coming down to win. So, straight away the top of the bill in the co-main event, you're going to have two opponents, if you like, who will both come in desperate to win.
Before we go back to the card and the others on the card, back to Jake. At one point a couple of weeks ago, him and Garner were going at it.
You know what we've got to do? I've got to mention this before. Should we ask them? But you were late, so fuck you. Is there anything they don't want to talk about? But they use late, so it's out there now.
Well, it's out there now. Nobody listens, I told you, don't worry, you'll have 3 lessons. That's all died down. I know Garner, he's someone who sort of I admire as well, because he's one of them that he doesn't care about records. He just wants to go in, try and win, whether it happens or happens. Obviously he's pulled off some upsets, hasn't he? He's had a couple of draws. He drew against Hunt, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I think he lost.
No, he drew
No,
against Hunt.
That was a very draw.
And he
felt
was
he won
undefeated at the time as well.
He was, yeah.
And but he's been chasing Jake for the Welsh title, hasn't he? And Jake was
I thought he
giving
was
back.
chasing Daniel Barton for us like that.
Yeah, but that fell out,
Really
didn't it?
wants
But
to.
now he's falling
Really
out,
wants
he's chasing Jake, because that fell out because Barton was ill or pneumonia, isn't he?
Yeah.
Then Jake came into the picture and Garner just went for Jake. He was giving it back, it was great. I was like,
I would get involved by him up with that. I fucking love Twitter.
and there isn't enough fuss made when Welsh titles online.
No.
Unless you're in the circle or you know the fighter, nobody really gives a fuck, do they? But then this happened, and then people were interested in the Welsh title again. Do you know what I mean? And they didn't care. They may not. They don't know how good Jake is or how tough Garner is, but they didn't care. It was just, these two are going to have a fight for the Welsh title.
It's because it's got a story.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to watch the fight.
To me, how that hadn't been put on, right, it's hot, get it in. I mean, they're both. Garner ain't going to come and just.
The Welsh board have got to think as well. Fuck, there's a ticket sale here.
Yeah.
Let's throw a couple of
And
names in.
it'll be interested in the Welsh title, or do they not give a fuck about that and just?
I think they do genuinely care about the Welsh title, and they do want all the titles to be owned. It's very difficult when you've got rival managers and promoters and stuff like that who want to kind of monopolise an area. And let's be fair, and you know what it's like, James, and it's not disrespect. I feel like I'm saying this all the time, but I don't ever say anything meaning any disrespect, because I appreciate I'm a novice in this game. You've got people like Chris Sanagar, got 20, 30 years promoting experience, whatever, and I feel like sometimes I'm coming along and I'm a bit of a cheeky bastard, saying how I feel and what my opinions are on things. But it's the nature of the game, and it's got to happen. And the long and the short of it is this: I'd love to make that fight happen. I do genuinely think the board cares about having all the titles of various places and with various people, but it's very difficult, because I was lucky that Sanagar conceded to have Hunt fight Jake. Goodridge was actually waiting in the wings for that, and this is kind of where things sparked off again, because I offered the fight to Goodridge, I offered the fight to Hunt, and there was a third fighter I offered it to as well. And it was kind of a last minute thing, because Jake was meant to fight. He wasn't even meant to be on that show, I don't think. He was meant to fight a black guy from London who was 6-0, and we agreed to go up there and take him on over 6 rounds. And I thought Jake was going to stop him. I don't like my fighters fighting on the road, but when I think it's a win for us, comfortable win, I'll do it. Jake was raring to go, and then Harding, was it something Harding Jr.?
Something Harding Jr.
Yeah, something Harding Jr. Anyway, it never came off, so we chucked him on our show. We were looking for an opponent for him. Jamie Arthur didn't get back to me quickly enough. Chris Sanagar got back to me straight away. Sanagar accepted, so we took the fight with Sanagar's boy. And like I said, Chris didn't need to take that fight. Liam Hunt was 7-2. He could have protected his record a little bit. I think Liam sells a few tickets, but I think Sanagar saw an opportunity for him to get out. Plus, because it was late notice, he did pull our pants down over the price a little bit of the opponent. So everybody got well paid from their side. But Geraint was a bit perturbed at the fact that he.
Look at that word.
That's right in the back pocket.
Can we use that later?
We'll Google it later, don't worry.
I know you're perturbed.
And she'd be like, yeah, well, James, this is the 5th time in a week. But honestly, the Sanagar just came back to us quicker. At the time, and this is an awful thing to say, but I kind of saw Goody as being the easier fight for us, and he'll hate me for saying that. But
Twitter's going to explode later. I'm already arguing with all
I
the
love him as
fans.
well. I really like Geraint as well. He's such a nice guy. He's funny. I really like him. And like, you know, when he was first on our shows in the Dragone and LC2 and stuff like that, I spent a bit of time with him. And you know, he's just one of those cheeky guys with a funny story all the time. And he's got a great personality. Brilliant laugh. Yeah, great personality. So when all this started happening, it upset me a little bit. I was like, I don't want this because I don't like this, and I got to be honest with you. Like, if I was at a high level, I find it very difficult not to take things very personally. And you see people turning tables over and giving it the big one and stuff. I'd probably be throwing punches and stuff. I'd be getting knocked out, but but I'd probably be first in there. I mean, you know, it's just in me to do it. I was a doorman for 23 years. If I see something going off, if one of my mates is, you know, somebody's having a pop with one of my mates, I'm in there and I'm throwing. You know, I would find this very difficult. But it all kicked off on Twitter then, and because I like Geraint, but I'm, you know, managing Jake, I was finding it quite difficult to process, and I was like, look, just leave it out. And I didn't want it because I would always try to make that fight happen if I could, because it's good for both of them and it gets the Welsh title out there. And if I could make that happen, I would make it happen.
I wouldn't be worried. If they're on Twitter, I would have been thinking, fucking money this fight. Texting Jake on Corner Camp.
If you want to stop an argument on Twitter, all you got to do is call someone a nonce. And I said, they could write this massive you're just going to go, nonce. It trumps everything.
Yeah, I put a big thing and Jake just gone.
I would have won, wouldn't I? I would have been like,
So the problem we've got with it is this. And like Geraint thinks he's paid his dues, and he has. He's fought on the road, but he's losing. And I'm not sure the board will sanction it. I mean, there's nothing official saying they wouldn't.
They sanctioned him against Barton though, didn't they?
But he's lost 1 or 2 since then, and I mean, he's lost like.
Oh no, at the time though.
yeah.
Oh no,
He'd just been sanctioned, didn't it?
No.
This was.
He got upset by Victor, didn't he?
What's that again?
What a guy from
Adaga. Victor Adaga. I was actually in Victor's corner.
Cross.
I was in Victor's corner for that, and I think
It's another topic, isn't it?
I think that pissed Geraint off as well, because you know we're kind of friends. And then
You're guy in the corner.
But Greg Steen phoned me up, said he's Victor's fighter. He said, "Can you do me a favour?" And you know, I said to Victor before we started, because you do a gym, and I said, Victor, I said, you know, are you coming to win? I said, or are you coming to survive? Because obviously my advice in the corner is going to depend.
Fucking hate him. Just want to see round 6.
But he said no. He said I'm gonna feel what he's got, and you know I'm gonna have a go. If I think I've got a chance, I'm gonna have a go. And the first round he felt him out, and then you know Victor every now and again had a bit of a go. And Geraint massively outworked Victor, but he was missing a lot, and you know a lot of people noticed that on S4C. Now,
this is the one he thinks just. I know. Yeah, I know what fighter or
and he went absolutely mental, right? And at the time, I've got to be honest with you, ringside at the time, being in Victor's corner, I thought, especially with him being a home fighter, I thought that Geraint had edged it, maybe 3 rounds to 1, or maybe 2 rounds and 1 to Victor and 1 drawn. I mean, he was very lucky. Not that I think it was a legitimate knockdown. I would never say this. I don't think he was knocked down, but he was very lucky. He wasn't given a count because Victor hit him and he turned his ankle and he went down. But he was very lucky because how many referees are looking like down and have to catch there as the ankle had turned. But imagine if Victor had been given a knockdown.
A couple of times I turned my ankle and they fucking started counting.
Happened to me in every fight. But you know, things could have been very different then. You know, and he would have lost the fight. And you know, but there were a lot of people ringside who didn't think he'd won the fight, who thought it was a draw was a fair result, and that shocked me because you know I was in the opposite corner and I thought perhaps Garner had done enough. But you know, boxing and scoring is subjective, and you know that's why you have three judges in title fights. You know, because everybody sees something from a different angle, from a different view, and scores looking at different things. You know, the American judges have always been noted to perhaps score for aggression. The British judges perhaps for more upright jabbing style or whatever. You know, and it can vary from judge to judge. But you know, in this case, the ref had it all even. Geraint wasn't happy. Afterwards, he took me to task and said, "Well, you know, you were shouting for him to knock me out." I don't actually recall doing that, and I don't think that's my style, but I might have because
yeah, but,
you know,
but in all fairness, it's fucking. There's no friends in fucking boxing or thing. Like I was calling that boy in his car, what's his son, and gym for one of my guys to smack him out. And I'm on call for years. You know?
Yeah, that's what you're there for. You're getting paid for
yeah.
your job, aren't you?
And in the day, I mean, you know, some days I'm representing a speeder, next day I might be representing a paedophile.
Defence, yeah?
Yeah.
I got issues with that.
He thought it was a midget.
You know,
It's
it's not always a pleasant part of the job, but you've got to do a job.
How do you
I know what you're going to ask me.
morally go in a court and go, yeah, I know he fingered the 3-year-old, Your Honour, but I got some good character references here. Do you know what I mean? How would you, why not prosecute that?
Do you know what? Everybody asks me
Back to boxing.
Everyone asks me the same question. I'll give you this answer, and it's the same answer I give everybody. Yeah.
Please,
No. Do you know what? I wish it did. I wish it did. The moment boxing starts paying, that fucking career's gone. Because I hate it. It's a shit career. I went to university. There's a song, right? Tupac, Picture Me Rolling. Right? Oh,
if it's not changes, I'm out.
Apparently, we thought about Tupac the other day, I can't remember.
Yeah, you were dissing him, or you were not even a rapper, you were saying.
You didn't say I'm a Tupac.
I'm a biggie man, You were all saying, I'm a biggie man. Tupac, he barely even raps.
Oh, is that when we were off our bin?
I can't even remember coming
He's
here.
on the AIC.
Oh, it was a crossover, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, Dundas Rain, we said that.
But there was this song, it literally saw me through university, Picture Me Rolling, because in my mind it was all about short-term pain for long-term gain, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to be pulling, you know, 6-figure salaries down. I always saw myself as a trial lawyer. In my mind it was all about winning trials, being, you know, Harvey Specter or whatever, you know. and I
thought Harvey Specter.
Harry Potter.
He's a lawyer in a series called Suits, which is.
Oh, I know, the one who's shagging Harry's bird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of, he's the guy who's shagging Harry's bird's boss, just for him. But, you know, I always thought to myself, well, you know, short-term pain, long-term gain, if I really knuckle down now, and bear in mind, nobody even thought I'd go to university. Everybody knew me through boxing, through, you know, sports, through stuff like that. And then I ended up in university. My trainer said to me, I said, Rudy Payder Senior was my trainer predominantly, and Phil Jones, and I said, I'm not going to be able to do so much boxing now. He said, well, why? I said, well, I'm off to university. I've been accepted to university. I'm going to university in September or whatever. And he said to me, son, you're not a thinker. You're not a thinker. You're a fighter. He said, yes. I was like, cheers for that. But that's kind of like how
I still laughing at as well.
But he kind of, you know, everybody kind of had that opinion of me. But I just really worked really hard, thinking the financial rewards would come. But legal aid has been culled so much, not just by this government, but by the Labour government, which started introducing cuts. And literally, criminal law solicitors are now earning 47% less than they were 20 years ago. So you imagine, most people get paid and they're in relation to inflation, NHS workers, etc. Their work goes up, they get like a 1%, 2% pay rise every year. We've taken nearly a 50% cut from something that people were getting paid 20 years ago. There's no money in law.
That's what you get for defending paedophiles though.
One day you'll need me, Lily.
But why defence?
I didn't even want to. Didn't even want to do criminal law. In my degree, got a first in employment law. In my mind, wanted to be a crusader for people's rights. Wanted to be people who've been mistreated in the workplace, abused by, you know, corporate bullies. Wanted to represent them, get them a fair deal. You know, women who, you know, have been abused, mistreated sexually in the workplace, stuff like that. I want to be like a crusader for all those. But there was no work amongst my immediate friends and family. I got no family in law, so I didn't have a leg up. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to do it the hard way. To get myself through university, I started working as a doorman, kept on doing it.
I expected you to say I was a stripper.
Oh, Christ.
Just pay the bills.
A grossogram maybe. So I was working the door, and then, you know, all these doormen and all my naughty friends from Newport were coming to me for advice, and then before I knew it, I had my own client base, and I was stuck with criminal law. So that's kind of where we are.
Doorman by night, sister by day.
I would have clients. I'd be working the door, and I'd have clients I'd represent in a day, and, you know, all these youngsters who've been up to no good in the day, they'd walk past the club in the night, you know, spending all their ill-gotten gains, and they'd be like, "Lad, that's my solicitor, man. He's amazing." I like other people, like I'd have trouble with on the door, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is just a power trip for you. This is just a power trip for you. I bet you've got a shit job in a day." And I'd be like, "Well, I'm a solicitor." "Yeah, right. Fuck off." And they'd be laughing at me. I'd be like, "Seriously."
I'm sure I'm a solicitor for pedos, and they went, "Yeah, I was right."
No one's done that.
Tell your brother I'll see him next week. Right, tell your brother I'll see him next week.
Although I'm technical issues now.
Oh, we've had this
Okay,
before.
good.
Are we back on?
Yeah.
Is that what happened last week?
Well, I don't want to risk it, so stop.
Yeah.
So
We are going to get
yeah, we're back on.
Right.
Let me just say this last thing I'll say on the subject. It's like, oh, how do you feel about? Everyone's like, oh, how do you feel about representing paedophiles? The biggest question I'm asked is, how do you feel about representing people who you know are guilty? That never happens. There's always two sides to every story. Trust me. And if people aren't guilty, normally the police have got all the evidence there, and if they want to go not guilty, they're just going to get a harsher sentence. But what really gives me sleepless nights, and it does happen as well, because this judicial system that we work within is so shit. It's so corrupt. It's so garbage. It's so prosecution minded, in my opinion. That what really gives me sleepless nights is when I have clients convicted who I know are innocent. That'll give you sleepless nights, trust me.
Yeah.
So from criminal law, let's talk about milk.
How's your milkshake?
Also on the show, Angelo's your third pro, yeah?
Third professional fight there. Next weekend.
Do you know who you're fighting in?
Yeah, I got an opponent fighting Reece Saunders. He's from Cardiff.
Yeah. He's
That-
not
that-
around
that
that years
really-
back.
He's one of Richie's boys.
Who beat him?
He lost the Welsh title fight, didn't he? Or he didn't have it, but he was meant to fight.
No.
He beat Kerry
Kerry Jones, is it?
Kerry.
Evans.
Kerry Evans, yeah.
Evans. That's the one. That's what I heard him, because it was an upset now, wasn't it?
That's when he
I
used to
remember
like
that.
boxing, wasn't it?
That was when I was balls deep in Welsh boxing.
I was got lynched for that. We went up to Stoke, and I was training Reece. I wasn't managing, I was training. Greg Steele managed him. Opportunity came out.
Oh, I remember now, yeah.
And I said to Reece, and Reece can bang, right? And I told Angelo this, and Angelo's come on physically and mentally so much more recently that perhaps this isn't a fight I would have wanted, but more recently in his training he's shown me that he is more than ready for this, and I'm very happy with the progress, how much he's matured.
Well, that's
and he's looking fantastic.
well, that, like you were saying, you get guys who just walkovers. Well, that's a fight. You know, that's going to be a fucking hard fight.
People say 50-50.
So yeah, that's you know what I mean. You're getting some of your money's worth there off the ticket price.
Chris Fields,
That's the sort of price that needs.
I tagged in the tweet and Chris Fields said, oh, if you
Never been a.
yeah, if you've only 4 guys with losing records,
Oh yeah,
you've
same,
never
yeah.
been in.
Alex Enlund done the
It
same
means
as
that
well.
yeah, you
James
don't
Woodlock.
believe in yourself and your manager.
Manager,
Oh, sure,
coach
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
believe in you.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's a perfect step up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
treading water.
exactly.
First 6 rounder as well, so
Yeah,
it's a good step up, like.
taking well, the roles have changed through a bit now. When Dale was fighting, one
Yeah.
time you be the guy sorting all the tickets, sorting the bus out for Dale, and all of the
see that
he's
the
doing
other
the
day,
same for you. So we've got a big. Is he sorting the crowd coming up to watch, or because
Yeah, well,
you from Carmarthen, were you? Aren't you?
Yeah,
So it's a
he's,
fair old track.
not so much tickets and stuff, but he's up in the gym with me every night, taking him on the pads.
Yeah.
He's good, he gives me advice.
What's he up to these days now?
He's actually got a job working with naughty kids.
He's on the rails.
So he has sleepovers and works for the mental side of it. He's settled in that job well.
He's dipping his toe back. You know, I've seen on Facebook, but he's
He's doing a bit of
classes.
class and stuff like that, like. But I think he always have the urge to go back. Like, it was just
He's still young, isn't he?
yeah,
Is he?
he was 26, yeah,
That's all he is.
yeah,
Exceptionally talented.
He's 26.
yeah, 26, yeah,
Very talented guy.
Have you had a hair transplant as well?
yeah.
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 What's
He would bowl as fuck last
He's
week.
on a blower.
I've seen him out from Ireland. He's
got
a fucking full.
So taking on, right?
You don't mind me saying they did go to Turkey, man.
I was looking at him, he had a fucking Elvis on the wall, didn't he? Like me last time I seen him.
How much did it cost it? Not I can't.
I'm sure he said he was £2 cheaper in Turkey, so you went over
Is
there.
it?
You went over there for.
I like Turgo.
Yeah. So.
I'll come back with some of that greasy slick back hair, I'll be chatting about
Come back with dreadlock. Throw it back and walk.
Yeah, so
You fancy that, like, didn't
no, I think it's a text it. So yeah, I was training me going in.
Yeah, training's been going really good.
Like you said, it's just a good step up now.
Yeah, like Richie said, I feel like I'm improving every week. I'm putting the effort in. I've got a strength and conditioning coach on board. and just doing all the right things.
Because the boys like in our gym now, I know they're only amateur MMA, but that's slightly different to boxing. Obviously, you get sponsors and exposure of amateur MMA. So, find it difficult to get sponsors because you've got to explain properly exactly what to get out of
Tell you
it.
what you need to do. Tell everyone that your fighters are fighting white collar and they'll fucking throw money at them. Fucking unbelievable.
But yeah, you do well for, it is, it's shocking. You do well for sponsors, don't you?
Like I see, a lot of talented boxers, like they don't really put themselves out there, like, and they think they waste their time a bit, and they got all the talent in the world, but they don't put themselves out there, and they seem to struggle then with like the finance side. And I run my own classes, 1-to-1s, and so I'm in the gym every day around the boxing environment, and I'm lucky to get a lot of local support. Obviously, on my milk business as well. And I deal with a lot of businesses and people. So
They help you with the cost of the medicals and everything.
Yeah, I've got a couple of customers I did milk to these. One's Henwood Stores, just a local shop that backed me and put money my way for my boxing. So,
because that's part of the issue with you, and it's so much, costs so much.
Yeah.
For the majority of the time, so little in return. Like I remember Greg Pickin telling me a story. I wouldn't name the promoter, I'd probably slip up that few group, I don't know. He was at a show, and the guy boxing, got caught, late call, we box, yeah. So Greg walked past, as the promoter's giving the boxer £100, I think it was £120, 6 rounds, right? And the guy's saying to the promoter, that's all I got. And he went, yeah, well, you didn't sell any tickets. He said, yeah, my mate is on the show and you called me 2 weeks ago. So all of my mates are going to see him anyway. And am I supposed to, he said, I got to pay my coach and everything, my manager and stuff, right? They won't take money off you. Greg turned around and went, that's a fucking disgrace, he said. He just risked his life for 6 rounds, he got £120. And the promoter turned around and went, well, fuck you. He went, fair point, but I'm just fucking telling you. So, stuff like that.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, and I'll have a chat with you guys about that later, in relation to promotions and stuff like that, how it works, how it doesn't work.
Fuck off, Nick, the rich,
I'll be perfectly transparent about that. I'll let you know the costings, I'll let you know what we do to promote, what works, what doesn't work and stuff like that, and I'll just give you a brief overview. And then, obviously, because I went into this with my eyes, wide open, I'm wondering what I could do to help promote boxers in Wales. And the biggest problem, and they're all listening to this, biggest problem in this is not the promoters, it's not the fighters, it's the Welsh public. It's that simple. Because they the Welsh public filled 72,000 stadium to watch Anthony Joshua, and yet...
Yeah, but Anthony Joshua might have looked into the crowd and seen the woman of his dreams. So Sandra from up the road has bought a ticket, and Anthony Joshua might notice her.
I'm sure you
would have. I notice her. And when you notice her down my street.
When her arse is filling 2 seats, I'm sure you'll notice her. Right? But that's the only context in which he's going to. But genuinely, look at this show that we've got going on at the moment, right? We just named 3 of the fights, and they're all genuine 50-50 fights. And if you are a boxing fan and you want to come and see a guy put his heart and soul on the line in front of hundreds of people, because that's what we've all done, right? I mean, that's the way I used to see it when I was fighting. I used to get incredibly nervous, and that's because I knew I was going out there and I was bearing my soul. Only on an amateur level, I only boxed at an amateur level, but every single time I went out, there were hundreds of people watching me take an absolute hiding, right? And I was giving it everything I had. And it's the same with pro boxers, it's the same with amateur boxers, it's the same with MMA fighters. You go out there and you are warts and all, what you see is what you get. Whether you win, whether you knock the guy out in the first round, you look like the hero, or you get knocked out in the first round, and everyone, you feel like a bit of a tool, because ultimately that's what we're really, really frightened of, isn't it? You're not frightened of losing, you're not frightened of getting knocked out, you're not frightened of getting hurt. In a way, you kind of enjoy that a little bit. And the longer you do it for, you kind of get to enjoy the pain a little bit, which might sound a little bit perverse, but James, I'm sure you'll be with me on that. I mean,
perverse.
But you put yourself out there and you put your heart and soul on the line. And if you want to watch 3 fighters we've just named, just half the bill, putting their heart and soul on the line, and you only want to pay a fraction of what you will pay to see Anthony Joshua fight in Cardiff, and yet be ringside. You bear in mind, I saw Anthony Joshua fight in Wembley against Klitschko. One of my mates paid for the ticket. Right, very wealthy friend of mine paid for the ticket. It was like a £600 diamond ticket with, you know, probably more Street and all that shit. And yet I was 2 football pitches away.
Watching the big screen.
For 600 quid, right? The atmosphere was fantastic, yeah, wonderful. I've been there, I've done it, seen it, done it. Not interested in doing it again because I've done it now. But that ticket cost 600 quid. For 1/10 of the price, you're going to be ringside and see these boys give everything against the guy who's going to come and give everything back.
That's where, like I
If
said,
you're a boxing fan, you're there.
yeah, but you also want to try and grab in, that's it, what, 80% of the Joshua crowds, casuals.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen this guy before, or that's where social media and stuff comes in. And the issue is with some not die-hard fans, because if you love Welsh boxing, you're going to know these names and think, yeah, that is a good fight against that guy, so yeah, we'll make a trip up. But you could put 10 great shows on, and the one show where someone doesn't get the beef sandwich or whatever it is, that's the one they remember or tell their mates about rather than the other 10. So that's what we're fighting against sometimes.
Yeah.
But this is, and I've been to some, quite a lot of all Welsh shows over the last couple of years, and some of them I'm sitting there because I know this guy couldn't hit the dust off a mantelpiece and it's going to go to 10 rounds.
I can't.
And his missus is behind me screaming at me, going, fucking kill him! For 10 rounds. And, certain ones like that against the fucking Latvian guy, which puts people off. But these are the type that, the more regular these are, I think then they'll gather some more.
Yeah, maybe. But I've got my doubts. And then what you need is the boxers to do well on tickets and what have you. But I'll focus on that later. But just going back to Angelo, I mean, against Reece Saunders, this is a massive fight for Angelo. You know, it's a career maker, and who knows, after this fight, perhaps, I've had a word with Mo, we might be putting a show on, you know, he's interested in doing Fox Last. Angelo has spoken to the guys there because he does have a fantastic support in the Carmarthen area, that sort of area, you know, and there are people there who are willing to support him, and I'm really, really, you know, proud of the Carmarthen people for that, because, you know, it's a feather in their cap that they're willing to, you know, put their trust and faith and even their money in Angelo. And who knows, maybe, because I see it as a fantastic fight, he's only just maybe down the road. Christian Twos, he's got his first 6-rounder on March the 9th on Sanagar's show. He's just doing his first 6-rounder, and I think that that's a fantastic fight, perhaps a Welsh title.
Well, we're talking about it, might as well get into it now. Angelo is what I like to see. If I'm a fan and I'm like, third fight, he's having a proper fucking fight, yeah? Proper fight on his third fight.
Yeah.
And then the next one, you're looking in his fourth fight to be 10. Yeah, you were looking at Angelo's fourth towards step up, 6-rounder.
Yeah.
If we went.
Yeah, but then you've got Twos, who's still fighting. How many fights has he fucking had?
He's had 8 or 9,
and he's still, exactly. And we talked about it, but we haven't talked about it right now, so fuck it. You can't keep going undefeated fight. Technically, yes, undefeated fighter, fucking 8-0 or whatever. No. You've got 2 fucking draws on there, fella. Don't forget about them now, because the Welsh board don't forget about it if you carry on.
Next opponent is against 0-6. I mean,
what's going? Who's managing him? Sanagar. What's happening? He's obviously clearly got some skill, right? Clearly got
fast hands,
he's
nice
slick.
He's I know, I've spotted him, he's a good boxer.
Yeah.
So you know, if I went to my fucking mate, my next fight, who you fighting? Oh, fuck, he's like, he'd be like, I'm not paying 40 quid, not watching that. He'd rather me fucking have my fucking
ass handed to
my eyebrow hanging off, fucking blood pissing out. They'd be like, what?
Yeah, but what's happening there? Because how long do you do that for? Because he should technically be 8-0, undefeated. The way they're managing him, hopefully with a couple of stoppages, but he's obviously slipped up against two journeymen, massively losing records. So Sanagar's going to be thinking, what do I do with this guy? Clearly skillful, but you've got to test. But do you test him because he slipped up against his first he's supposed to walk over? Because he's got hands just getting in there.
I mean, it depends on your management style, I suppose. The way I see it, and you know, I know Gary Lockett's of the same kind of mindset, because it's something we've talked about at length. When if you want to progress fighters and if you want to get into the position you want it to be, then hypothetically what you want is a fight which isn't exceptionally dangerous but ticks a box. And once you've ticked all the boxes, then you're ready for a title fight.
But how many fucking boxes have he got? He's had fucking fights. Do you know what I mean?
That's something you'll have to ask Chris.
Yeah, I've seen him loads of times, and he does take. That's why Chris. Let's not fuck about. Chris Angle loves him because he doesn't see him as the next Welsh champion. It's because he sells a fucking truckload of tickets. That's why he loves him, and that's why he's on. That's not fuck about. Do you know what I mean? So.
Cut the deep dive, fuck it.
What do you do?
Well, fingers crossed. And
if you're Christian, surely you've got to think.
He's an ambitious kid. He wants
Yeah,
to really get out off the leash, I'm sure.
But this isn't fucking doing me any good. He's not learning anything from these because he's 48. He could have they probably ate the same sort of fighter, trying to survive. But maybe the twice that they have stepped up, they've got a draw. So,
from my perspective, what I want is this, and it's this simple. I think Rhys Saunders is a good step up. It is a box taking exercise for Angelo. It is a tough fight. I used to train Rhys. I know about him. He can punch hard. He can move well. He's a former AVA champion. You know, he's been in with some really top quality guys. He lost to Jason Easton for the Celtic title. He won the British Masters title against Kerry Evans, who was 6-0 at the time and one of very few people to stop Christian Late. I mean, Christian Late's just retired, having had 300 plus fights, and how many times he gets stopped? 6? Maybe even not, maybe 4.
I think he gets stopped by Kevin Mitchell, did he?
Yeah, you know, and
that's the type of fight. You heard me when you mentioned it, we was fighting.
Yeah.
People know, alright, granted some people don't know certain Welsh boxing in different areas, but I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And when he set up, oh fuck, that's a fight.
Yeah,
That's a fight. You know what I mean? It is a fight.
Whereas like we look forward to us having that 3 people in the winner.
Yeah, I can't wait.
The Welsh Awards night the other night, like, so when you're next, and just like, next week at Newport, who we got, Rhys Saunders, like,
yeah, it's a proper fight, you know what I mean? And it's credit to you, because you could easily go the other route and just go, give me a fucking guy and just spam over him.
You go up and you mates as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course, you put in, and obviously all the fans want you to win and everything, but the worst happened, and they go, yeah, but he was in the fight, he fucking went for it.
That's a fight,
Do you know what I mean? He's not just going, get some money, come and watch me spam this fucking Latvia.
Well, what I hope to do next is, you know, if Angelo comes through this, when Angelo comes through this, you know, and it's a difficult one for me. It's the first time I've been in the corner opposite Rhys, and I've got a lot of affection for Rhys. You know, he's got 2 daughters who are fantastic little girls, and I was quite close to his family, Rhys. And you know, one of his daughters is special needs, and you know, not in an incredibly difficult way, but you know, I'd go to his house, she'd give me a little cutch, and she was, you know, she's a lovely little girl. Both his daughters are fantastic, and Rhys is such a nice kid, and his missus is a lovely woman. So to be, you know, kind of giving Angelo tactical advice and how to potentially knock him out is, you know, it's difficult for me. But like you said, James, I got a job to do.
You know, good does it feel now, eh?
You don't go fuck with defending pedos. You can't go in the
I would like.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
I would like next for perhaps, and the offer will be put out there if the board will sanction it. That, you know, if Christian comes through his 6-rounder as well, they both got 6-rounders on their belt. Welsh title.
Well, lightweight, is that?
No, super
feather.
Super fucking.
That's the thing, because normally like British level or whatever, you've got to win X amount of fights or. But the pool is so small, and the Welsh pool, it's great that you can put 3 or 4 wins together, and you're in the Bible box in the house off Gareth.
Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is Swansea and Connecticut.
It's like my one,
He's in it.
Yeah, 1968 goes
yeah. But in those boxes you've got the Sugar Ray Prices and then the Jeff Peglers, and they're there forever. And you've got
that's a good name drop. That's good.
Yes, the Sugar Ray Price. He fucking about 2-3 months ago. But you've got people like that, and they're in there forever. So I mean, it's a proper achievement. It's not
speaking.
It's proper achievement. We go down in the history books there as a Welsh champion.
Speaking of other pests, where was our invite for the plate last night?
What plate?
You went for a plate yesterday.
I did not.
You did?
I was on the fucking house.
In the Morris.
Oh, I did, yeah. Well, you said to see you had a migraine. I did, I was in work.
You're a liar.
I tell me. I've had them since Tuesday. My head's still hurting. I went in the Morris just to go on. I ate about, I don't even exaggerate, 7 sausages. And then went home.
In the toilet, so.
No, I'm there. Don't be ending up with us.
Vegan sausage rolls from Grace.
Oh, fuck no, I can't.
Yeah, so
I can't chew my shoe.
it's twice you pints off a pint now.
I didn't have a pint, didn't even drink the fucking water in there. Yeah, anyway.
Well, 10 minutes ago you wouldn't go in. You didn't go.
I forgot, that's what I mean, I didn't go for a pint.
The migraine made me forget.
That's how times in there with times in there with 5 or 6 of days going, yeah, fuck you.
And Chris Jenkins.
Oh, yeah, it's about me, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting Saturday, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I know Chris really well, you know what I mean? And I was going to say you're on, he was one that said to Gare, right, look, don't be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Why's a fucking turn around that, isn't it? Because I'm sure Chris has had a few fucking whispers in his ear, going, like, you can't call him a cunt. Like that. So,
I love Chris to bits.
Yeah,
he's one of my favourite people in boxing. And
Also,
he's
that's
genuine.
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Genuine lunatic as well. I mean, some people put it on and stuff like that, you know. Chris, I mean, he's company for 5 minutes. I am laughing. my
Yeah,
balls
he's
off.
just...
We went up to Scotland, right, and we went up to Scotland, and it was me and Gary Lockett. He was fighting the Australian lad.
The Irish Australia.
The Irish Australian for the Pan-Australian title, which he could win but couldn't defend. Had to give it back immediately and all that. But good opportunity for Chris. Would have gone in the top 10 again, you know, blah, blah, blah. And my snoring was so bad that I got punched in the nose years ago, deviated septum. I'm terrible snorer. So Gary Lockett, by the second day, has had enough. Right, he has had enough. he's fuming. He's sick and tired of being up all night, smashing me in the face with a pillow. Wake up, you bastard! So I'm keeping awake all night. So 4 o'clock out in the morning, right? He sneaks into Chris's room, right? Climbs into bed with Chris, and he's in there a little while, and he farts, and it wakes Chris up, right? And Chris said, you know, it woke me up, and I thought, oh, I farted, lifted the sheets. I was like, whoa, that's not one of mine. When I heard that story, then he realises Gary's in the bed with him, jumps up and freaks out.
Chris, he's got a lot of skill, a lot of potential. Well,
Incredible
he's now
talent.
he's got to be 28 now, isn't he?
Something like that, yeah. Incredibly talented kid.
So he's still got a couple of years left.
Yeah.
But you've got to
Only
worry.
lost 3 losses on his record.
Yeah, but you've got to worry. What his peak years? He had a lot of injuries as well, didn't he? And a lot of bad luck. And
Yeah.
so hopefully he can get back on the bike, and because he's such a tough guy and a good opponent, you can't get in fights, can you?
He was. Do you know what that event in Scotland was so. It was so eventful. He fought Riddy in, I think it was
Leicester,
something like that. And I'll tell you what, right? Small hall boxing, that is the most incredible atmosphere I've ever been. I've been to Anfield. I've been in a cop. You know, I've been, you know, Klitschko versus Joshua. I have never ever been in an atmosphere like I have in that small hall show, right? When that boy came out to fight Chris, the entire place went up and it was packed, absolutely packed. There was, you know, standing room, you know, not even standing room, like people are shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow. And when he came out and the place went up, I felt like it was vibrating. I felt like the entire place was vibrating. And then Chris, of course, boxed really well first 2 rounds, got cut. I was a cuts man, tried to cut it, tried to, fix it.
That's where you're going wrong.
Yeah. Should have Gary Lockett said to me afterwards, I mean, Jesus, I mean, I can show you pictures of it, but I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter and stuff, and he said, look, he said God himself wasn't stopping that from bleeding. He said, you know, and again, not lost opportunity for Chris. Then, of course, Dar Foley, another lost opportunity for Chris, all because of cuts. We go to Glasgow Royal Infirmary afterwards, right? It was such an eventful trip, honestly, God. And we walk in, and there's me, Chris, and Gary. And well, Gary's like, you know, probably walking around about 13.5 stone. Chris is like 10 stone. They call Chris in, right? And this cut is huge, right? Looks like he's going to hit with an axe. And they go in there. I nip to the toilet, and as I'm coming out of the toilet, they're going in. And they close the doors, and it's one of those, the doors automatically lock, so I had to wait outside. Chris comes out, right? He's got 4 straight lines down here, barely holding it together, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, doctor said that'll hold him for now. And I was like, are you serious? They know he's a pro boxer. And Gary's like, I told him, pro boxer, you know, this needs to be sealed properly. And they just weren't interested in that. It's Saturday night. I was like, oh shit, alright then. So we pick up our stuff to go out the door, and as we pick up our stuff, and Chris always rips a piss out of me on Twitter for this, as we pick up our stuff to go out the door, and literally I bend down to pick the bag up, and as I straighten up, this guy is right in front of my face, and he doesn't sound like he's from Glasgow, he sounds like he's from Manchester. As I straighten up, he's straight in front of me, and you know, nose to nose, so with my nose he's about 2 feet away. He says, what the fuck are you looking at? And he's got blood all over his mush already, right? And I'm
Well, hang on, mate. You carry on. I hate you and I'm going to have to defend you anyway. Fucking behave yourself.
I was like, are you serious? I looked to the left, right? You got Chris with half his eyebrow hanging off, right? He's 10 stone. You got Gary Lockett on the right hand side, who's like half my size, and he's picked on the big one. I was like, are you fucking serious? It's 4 a.m, and I got some man in Glasgow, in the actual hospital, who's already been fucked up, asking me to fight him in the hospital reception room. Fucking hell.
Yeah, you've been in the right place, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, sleeping on the floor, eh?
We can't reposition.
I offered him the car park, but he didn't want to do it then. He lost his bottle. But Chris always says that it was because, you know, he was there. and he saved me, came to my rescue. So who knows, maybe, because, you know, when you see the statement on Chris's face, I don't think you were ever go near him.
No, he had internal stitches on that as well, didn't he?
Well, he was very lucky because he came back early. And we spoke to the board. Gary Lockett spoke to the board. Dr. Neil Scott saw the injury and was like, that's got to be sorted. Phoned up Gary and said, get him back here early, get him back here as quickly as possible. Dr. Neil Scott from the British Border Control, and I know obviously people in this room have issues with the Border Control, but this guy doesn't. This guy has, you know, he does a lot of work for the British Border Control. He's a really nice guy, Neil Scott. He got him back early, saw him on his day off, reopened the cut. You know, he did an amazing job on Chris's cut, absolutely amazing. And do you know what? If he hadn't, because of the state of the cut, he needed something like 13 stitches inside, 12 stitches out, it was like 20, 26, 27 stitches, something like that in total. That was potentially, based upon the treatment he'd had at the infirmary, that was a potential career-ending injury, because his eye was just hanging off. You know, but Neil Scott, out of his own time, not even, you know, just off his own bat, was like, bring him to me and I'm going to sort this straight away, and he did.
Chris is one of those, he's got the correct personality to make him a success.
Yeah.
He's likeable,
Yeah.
skillful, he's been in big fights, one prize fighter when it was red hot on TV. He's one of the only prize fighters that never really got taken
Kicked on,
Yeah, yeah. And
but whose shame is that? I'll tell you now, all the people who live in the area where we live,
That's
who
what
have
I'm
been
saying.
saying for years and years, when you're fighting on Chris, I'll buy a ticket. And for those people who have bought a ticket off him, thank you very much. But for those people who promised for years and years and years, don't worry, Chris, because he's always, like you say, he's fought on the road, he's fought away, he's done prize fighter, he's taken these dangerous fights against people like Ridley, against people like Dara Foley. And when he does fight home, and he has had home fights, those people have gone very quiet, they've gone missing.
I know
It's
was like my second home pretty much. And I know Chris through my cousin, they were very good friends. My auntie have sponsored him, Chris, with a company. And I know he's got a small handful of friends that do go wherever he's going, within reason. I mean, if he's only he's fighting,
fair play to those people.
because it is a small community, but Chris has that ability to reach further than that.
Top level fighter.
Yeah, if Swansea should be adopting Chris, and following him round, because he genuinely has the skill to be a British champion.
He should be a British champion, because in my opinion, the two fights that he had where he lost, or the decision went the other way, in my humble opinion, he won those fights. And I had him up in both of those fights, went 2 rounds.
I think I had him up for winning the one that was a draw.
Tyrone Ness, was it?
Yeah, I had him winning that.
You know, it's kind of a hometown fighter thing.
One of my favourite moments is when he drops Nurse.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's won the belt there. That's the pure happiness. He genuinely thinks he's won the belt, but obviously at the same time you got it because Nurse gets up.
Incredibly, because he was a great shot.
He was a great shot, yeah, he walked straight onto it. But Chris, got on talking to Chris because he's on the show as an opponent. I mean, with him, because he fought at that level, is it hard to get him a worthy opponent rather than just giving him a can, or because it's so late, have we got to sort of do your best?
There are things in the pipeline for Chris. I can't say too much at the moment because I'm not 100% in the know. But there are things in the pipeline for Chris at the moment, and he will fight a high-level opponent and put himself back in the picture.
Is that the news guy who got pissed on Facebook saying I got to cut it? His news coming this
Don't
week.
wink at him, you're on camera.
Terrible
I was ringing him because I can't see him.
Yeah, lady for a
That's like a
camera.
man in his room.
But
He has that hair transplant.
I've been involved.
He has that hair transplant. It's on.
Can't wait.
We've also got. We'll finish up with the rest of the undercard, so to speak.
Yeah.
With Baby Jake on there.
No.
He's not on there now.
No.
Right.
He's on post, though, isn't he?
And he wasn't opposed to
MTK
MTK. Told him off.
off.
They wanted him for their show.
He's a good talent though.
Which
Obviously
Angelo's
you've got
on as well.
Yeah.
On the second March, is that?
Yeah, first match.
Like I said, Lee
Yeah.
was a good friend of mine. He's very kind to me. I've obviously put Kieran Gething's MTK fighter. I've given Kieran Gething the title shot on my show. He's given me a few spots for my fighters on his show. You know, the MTK shows are really good, really professionally run shows. There's TV involved. It's a great platform for me, and I'm very fortunate that Lee's been kind enough to let me have a few of my boys on. I've got Angelo on, I've got David White Jr. on. Obviously, David's a Cardiff boy, so it's going to be a very, very nice night for him, fighting in his hometown, you know, in his city. But yeah, we've got the undercard then, the remaining three fighters, and really, really talented kids. Meredith Thomas, Gary Lockett's boy.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I've
managed by
seen him.
Yeah, we to say his name for him,
Yeah.
we did it. Say N-U-E-R in that.
M-A-R-E.
Alright.
There's a U in there. I know there's a couple of D's. There's a couple of L's trapped in the front run.
Was it Meredith?
Meredith.
Meredith.
He
That's
can,
how we spell Meredith for Tony, like
he can really bang. In the last show in Swansea, he got out there. I was in the corner with Gary, and oh Christ, when he lets his shots go, especially that overhand right, fantastic right hand puncher. He let it go. I looked at Gary, honest to God, I said, Jesus, he best calm down or we're never going to be able to match him. I said that sentence, turned back around, and the count was starting. He dropped the guy and that was it was all over.
I've heard
talented boy.
some stuff about him.
Yeah, amateur then, he's told the opposite, he's more back foot, counter puncher. Here's the fight online, Gavin Gwynn against Meredith, Welsh final. He's always on the back foot, counter punching. Since he got pro now, he's planting his feet and banging away. Like, he's really good.
Reece Edwards,
He's
two fights, two wins.
followed him.
Yeah.
Mansell's boy.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, because I used to see Mansell in the AVA shows like Treacle Bay and stuff.
Yeah.
And his younger
Lovely
boys,
boys,
his younger boys are really
Talented
good as well.
kids.
Yeah, they're all. He's just always wrong. The guys are just like, yeah, boys, what's it doing? Yeah. Shed is a bag, a couple of skipping hooks, go on and beat each other up. They're not that far apart in age, are they? All the brothers and stuff, so they just team each other up for years and then just equality, you know what I mean?
18 years of age, real puncher, great mover, fantastic footwork. In fact, last time out, beat one of Angelo's old opponents. Angelo done 4 with Brett Beaton. For Angelo, and I'm sure he'll concur, that Brett Beaton, very experienced, and for me it was when Angelo learning to pace himself.
Joe Beaton.
Sorry, Joe
I've
Beaton.
seen
I was thinking, man, if he was Brett, you need to be called BB Gun.
Well, Brett,
I've seen Joe
the reason
Beaton
I
a
keep-
few times.
The reason I keep getting confused with Brett Beaton is because Brett Beaton's actually a former opponent of and a Commonwealth Games representative, and a former opponent of Rhys Saunders. Rhys dropped him in the first round and then ended up losing the fight. But it's apart from Jason Easton, it's the only fight he lost with me. But Angelo, for us, it was more about learning to pace himself at a professional level, because Angelo is an all-action fighter. You know, he's like kind of like a mini Mike Tyson. He wants to roll and he wants to get his hooks off and his uppercuts off. But for me, he's a little bit too hard on himself. He's actually quite an underrated boxer. Boxes well behind the jab, and he should work his way in behind the jab. You know, doesn't have to throw power with every shot. And for me, it was more about a cultured approach for him against an experienced fighter.
It's like adapt into the program. Yeah.
But really showing his incredible punching power. He was stopped. Joe was then stopped by Reece Edwards.
Yeah, because I was when I seen that, I was like, oh. Because I've seen Joe Beaton on Sanders shows. And
Yeah. And he can really bang Reece. He can really bang, and you know he's one that's probably going to be picked up by the likes of Matt Troom or Frank Warren in the immediate future, I think, because he's a really talented kid. And just like Jake, he's very young. He's only just turned 18, which is incredible when you see how cultured his boxing is.
So when I seen you sign with Gary, because when I was writing and I had the website and stuff and covering shows,
What's going on about Dragons boxing is dead.
I used to love Gary, and he was nice. I think that's the first time I've ever seen him. He was nice enough to invite me in, and Gary got this aura about him, and everyone thinks he's miserable as fuck. But when I went in there, I get the same thing, you know. When I went in the gym, well, he's
really funny. He's a funny guy.
He'd be telling me stories about other boxers and this and that, and I'd be laughing at him. And at the time, he was like Nick Blackwell was there, Enzo, Chris, Alex,
The Rock.
Gavin Reece.
Yeah.
I did. And
He's retired then, is he?
Yeah. It's just. No, I haven't seen Gavin. I've met Gavin at. He won there either. It's just what am I? Dale. Yeah, he was Dale, but he only used to come up certain days. Jay was there.
Lewis used to
Monday
as well.
Lewis Reece.
And it was a real good. It was just a good laugh.
And the MMA fight. He's got
Lewis
Long as well.
Oh, Lou, yeah, he's that. I know. But you had that thing of he's miserable as fuck. But he's not. He's a real good laugh. Nice. And I always remember, I went in there once just to take pictures, and they said hi and stuff, and that was that. And I went to watch Liam Williams against Gary Cochran, is it? Yeah, in the ice arena. And I was just walking, and he clocked me and he called me and remember my name, those little things like that. That makes a difference when he was writing an article or whatever. And what I noticed when I used to go up there, just how good he was. So I mean, I've been at Tony Boggs and seen Tony work, and Tony's great as well. But with Gary, I was like, they mates as well. Do you know what I mean? They're not just a trainer. It was something different. And every time I see someone sign with Gary as a trainer, I think there's something off because he wouldn't take garbage. You haven't got time to train and try and make someone who's okay after he's done. They're going in and they've got something about him and he's going to fine tune it. So when he signed, I've been shouting about Nathan Foley for years. Seen him from his first fight.
He's a lovely kid as well.
Yeah, I went up with him and interviewed him and stuff, and I've always said, watch out for him. And there's a guy not many people know.
Yeah.
You've seen it, he's not on TV or unless it's SOC.
Yeah.
But he's a guy you need to watch out for. And when he signed, I thought, great move.
Yeah,
I don't know what this guy, Craig Kennedy still with Gary?
He still goes out there from time to time, but he's working in the day now, and I think he's kind of a bit more career minded, which is a shame. And I saw him the other night at the Welsh Boxing Awards, and I said to him, come on, Craig. I said, it's time now, because
he's a good game as well. Yeah. Because he gets a very good game.
Yeah, he's at an age now where it's now or never, and I think he realises that as well. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to speak for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make a comeback soon. And you've got to bear in mind, I think he's only actually lost one, hasn't he? I think it was only Aston.
Yeah, but I like him. One of my first ones I ever covered.
You've been slagging loads of
One of the first things I ever covered was him versus Camacho. Number one, where he bit him. And
allegedly. No, he didn't.
But
yeah, teeth mark in his fucking
against Big Joe, Belgian fella,
who is now managed by Mo Pryor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucking won that fight. I don't know what fuck what anyone said.
Dropped him twice, didn't he?
He won that fight. Me and my brother were watching that, and when they give it to Craig, I think they give it to Craig, it was a draw.
Yeah.
Me and my brother were, that's fucking bullshit, turn it off, fuck this.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it was in that round, and he got dropped within 2 separate rounds.
He lost that fight.
Joe was a bit lazy though, wasn't he? He should have. I'm not disagreeing with your opinion on the decision. Not just that, but when he was hurting Craig, he'd stand back and laugh and stuff. Yeah. No, get in there and get the job done. Yeah. If this man, right, fought Rhys Saunders next week, and as much as I love Rhys, or whoever his next opponent is, or fought Christian Twos, and he dropped Christian or he dropped Rhys in the first round, and then he stood off and he was laughing. If he came back to the corner, I'll tell you now, I'd be slapping this boy's face and saying, "What are you doing?
Why didn't you stamp on his throat?
What are you doing?" Something Gary Lockett said to me years ago. We were on the amateur's training course, the ABA training course, like 15, 20 years ago, whatever. And one of the guys with me, one of my good friends, said to him, "Oh, Gary, you know, it's pro boxing and all that. You ever carry the boxer just to get the rounds in, just to, you know, get yourself fit, just to do it?" And Gary turned around and said, "Fuck off! I'm not paid for overtime."
Exactly. Yeah. Why would you?
He said, "The moment I call him on one, if I think he's going, I'm on him."
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I just couldn't understand what Joe was thinking. You know, he should have jumped all over Craig, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, ultimately it cost him. And he couldn't believe it. He was fuming. He smashed chain rooms afterwards. He was, you know, there were chairs and cups and all kinds, like an Alex Ferguson dressing room.
But like I was saying, anyone who signs, if I see somebody has signed or Gary has signed somebody up, I think they must be out from the start.
Yeah,
from the start.
And you're absolutely bang on. He doesn't, you know, he works with prospects, but they've got to be
They've
prospects.
got to have something
with
about them.
prospects.
Yeah.
You know, you're not talking about somebody who he wants to build up, who might be a good ticket seller. No, they've got to be talented.
Yeah.
But
Like he's working with Jack Shaw. He works with Jack.
yeah, he does. He
Jack
does.
travels 30 miles or whatever. So like with Jack as well, as a little thing,
What?
as a tangent, quickly, Jack is,
I love Jack as well.
it's
He's
what,
such a, he's
he does it like I think you should. He's like, right, I need to improve my boxing, so I'm going to go and win an ABA best,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to dedicate X amount of hours per week with one of the best coaches available to me. Well, no, he could get anyone in the gym to all the pads and he could hit the
yeah,
pads,
of course, yeah.
but he travels 30 miles.
So
He's Gary,
the best
obviously.
fighters, yeah, the best coach in the world.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to learn, because that's an aspect he needs to, and everyone knows him as a wrestler, get you on the floor and he'll sub you because he's a brown belt.
There have been times when I watched him fight in Cage Warriors and stuff, and I don't know if you feel the same way. Obviously, I'm a big MMA fan. You know, I used to teach striking at Brotherhood MMA and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like there have been times when Jack is so in control of fights that he's had a sub on and it hasn't quite been on really deep, you know. But it could be if he just tried a bit harder, but he just let it go because he can. Because he's that talented that.
So risk game that is, over there.
Yeah, it is a risky game, but I've never really seen him in trouble where you
He hasn't
feel
been
it.
yet.
No,
No,
is
he
that
hasn't
what
been.
you have
No.
10 now, is he? 9-0, 10-0, is he?
Was he? Yeah, he might be up towards. I was thinking 7, but I don't think he is.
No, he's
Because
definitely.
he's had something like 15 all in. I was watching him and he won the amateur pain pit title up in Newport, and I think he turned pro the fight after that. But all in all, I think he's 15-0, never lost a fight. He's a real talent, but he's doing it right. He's
And
doing it
you've got to be well rounded in MMA.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the first days of UFC when you had, you know, somebody like Dan Severn, who was a great wrestler, or
I was watching, I was watching him for a lay down road 7 weekend, and
Well, after the pub.
and I put UFC 2 on. I was just watching, and obviously you were talking about Jim was some of my favourite ever. The guy who walked in with one boxing glove on him. But yeah, those no rules, no time limit.
Those days are long.
yeah.
I mean, Kimbo Slice. I mean, I think you really realised the difference when Kimbo Slice was in the TUF house, when they had all those guys who were fringe contenders. Yeah, and he was absolutely the heavyweight,
Right.
and he was given chance after chance because you could tell Dana desperately wanted.
Oh yeah,
him.
because he's a ticket seller.
Yeah, chance after chance. Everyone wants
Even
to
the
give
best promoters doing that.
Yeah.
Just have a fucking ticket, get him in. CM Punk, get him in.
But
Aaron Chalmers, get him out.
None.
Kimbo's knees were shot to bits, and his boxing skill as a banger, as a striker, yeah, it was pretty good, but no ground game at all. And the moment he fought anybody with any wrestling or jiu-jitsu ability, you know, and he was tapping. It's as simple as that. And you've got to be well grounded in every aspect. You know, you've got to be good with your legs, you've got to be good with your hands, you've got to be good on the floor. You know, and you're never ever going to reach probably even a mid-level unless you can do a bit of everything in MMA. And I mean, you know, I've done a bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Brotherhood MMA and stuff like that. I absolutely love it. And a lot of the boxers I work with, they don't understand it. And it's almost, it's a thinking man's fighting. And they really don't get it. I mean, Angelo McNally's done a lot of rolling as well. And I love it. I love it. You're constantly, I mean, the slightest move, the slightest twitch might mean something. You've got to adjust. You've got to move to something else.
And until you even just go up a gym and have a roll in an amateur or just a normal jiu-jitsu class, until you've got a bloke on you who weighs roughly the same as you,
You know, they can be like
even lighter, yeah.
17 euros, so like.
And you cannot move. There is nothing you can do, and they can just put you to sleep ends. there's a realisation that was going, oh fucking hell.
Yeah.
People can do this, like.
And at the
You
beginning,
don't realise how hard it is
Yeah.
until you got someone laying on you, like Ricky Owen. Ricky Owen was my favourite years ago. We're talking about it, me and my brother talking about it with me, and Ricky's there, and he's like, fucking dad, all that again, and I can't fucking watch it. I was like, that's the typical boxers, fucking, like, I'm all in boxing, they just fucking hugging each other and thinking, leave him hug you for 3 minutes and see how tired you are. It's a different kind of fitness.
I said to Darren Price years ago, he said exactly the same things when he was training with me, and I said, look, I said, even a big fat useless mess like me, I said, if we were in a cage, and we were training a brother, I said, we're in a cage, I said, I'd find a way to shut you down, trap you in a corner, I said, and then I'm going to break your arms, I'm going to choke you out, I said, I'm going to rear naked choke you out and guillotine you, I said, I will find a way. Yeah, you couldn't get near me. I said, you'd be surprised how small that cage feels once you're in there. Come on then, let's jump in a cage, he says. Jump in a cage, didn't go 30 seconds, trapped him in a corner, double leg takedown, he's all like this with his arms, buff, on my back, and he's like, yes. And it's happened in the street as well, because the reason I started doing jiu-jitsu was because with my background in boxing, working the doors, I was having to bang everybody all the time, and when you